Right. Correct, exactly. And likewise, once we fail back again, do the same thing for the DR as well. Because, yeah. So both the production and DR disk space, everything will be in common. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, yeah. And at the time of the Vault installation, we had skipped one component monitoring or something like that. Right. You said that could be done later. Remote monitoring or something like that. Yep, remote monitor, remote control agent. Come something like that, yes. Remote control agent. So that is different, but as an MPG, correct. But what is the purpose of that? Do we have the package installer or we have to start doing the Vault installation? Then choose only that component to be installed, so that we can install separately remote control agent monitoring. So using that also, we can monitor that, the Vault services and the remaining stuff. Okay. So here PSM recording. If I go right-click Open and Properties, there is some space allocation that needs to be done. Correct? Yeah, right. So what happens if this goes full? You will get alerts in the ETA log, right? Okay, but what will happen? What are the consequences of it if it's full? To my understanding, I think only the recordings from the PSM server will not be moved to Vault. Correct. That's the only scenario that could happen. My PSM could still increase the space because it is holding all the recordings. So as soon as I maybe, as you said, increase the physical hard drive itself, add a couple of more drives, then reallocate it, then it should be fine, because it is moving from PSM to Vault by itself. Correct. But here we can face some other issue also. So that PSM try to upload the recordings to Vault, right? But this PSM recording safe got full. I mean that site got full and it is unable to upload the recordings. Then it may throw some different error and that PSM service got stopped or that recordings will move to errors folder and that PSM service or PSM will be malfunction. So those kind of errors we can see. Okay. This was one of the scenarios which we actually faced. What happened typically was, nobody knew what Cyberark and everything was all about. And because the guy who was in charge, he was on vacation for like 2 weeks during his notice period. So at that point in time the storage on the PSM was absolutely full and nobody was able to actually establish a new sessions. Yeah. And the connections are getting disconnected time and again. Even if it were to be like, maybe for Muhammad, it is happening for me and you, it is not able to connect. But maybe after 5-10 minutes you are able to connect. I'm not able to connect. So something of that kind was happening. So that, due to the retention period, might be that old recordings got deleted and something like that. Yeah, so that was happening. So no new sessions were coming in. Then we checked the logs and the logs clearly stated that storage full or maybe unable to record or something like that. Recording failed. Then we checked on Cyberark forums. So that's when we realized that, there is only a storage issue. Then we just added like 10 gigabytes immediately, because it was on a storage box, right? Connected to SAN. You need to add extra space to this recording. So we did it to the D drive because that's where all the recordings were there. So we did that and we were able to get back to life. So, to avoid all this case of scenarios, we need to configure S&MP and S&TT. So if you configure S&TP, then immediately you will get an email notification from the vault whenever, if your recording safe got full or your DR application got stopped. Immediately we will get email notifications from the vault stating, like, PSM recording safe some 90%. All those stuff you will get. Then we need to take an action immediately. And also apart from that. So in case there is no health check configuration for your vault and your component server, definitely we need to monitor manually. I mean by logging into that server every day at least once into that vault server and check it a lot, and log into DR vault server and check pad or not, like whether replication is happening or not. So all this stuff, either OPS team need to check manually or some other team need to check manually.